That was next, wifey. So today is the first anniversary of the insurrection, January 6, 2021. Forces that were weaponized by Donald Trump and his minions sought to overthrow a duly elected election process. They had to come in there and use force and intimidation to overthrow an election. And the problem is that it just wasn't this one thing. There were people who were weaponized by him, who tried to run Joe Biden's campaign bus off the road in Texas. There were people weaponized by Donald Trump who tried to kidnap the governor of Michigan and had plans to kidnap several other Democratic governors. There were people weaponized by Trump who decided to go to Oregon in a government meeting armed. So this is not getting better. This is escalating. And it's escalating because no one wants to call this what it is. They say that the greatest thing the devil ever did was convince people he didn't exist. And I think the greatest thing that Trump and his lot have done is convince people that this didn't exist. Oh, it's just a few people. To date, there are over 700 people who've been arrested and up to 3,000 who are awaiting arrest and trial. There were 5 people that died, not even 5 people that died, not including the suicides that are associated with it. There were hundreds and hundreds of police officers who were injured that day, not including the ones who will never go back to work. So there was damage all around. There are people who if nothing happened, then what the hell were the congressmen and the other elected officials scurrying for safety for? If nothing happened, then why was Mike Pence spirited away? And the charge was that you lost an election. And Donald Trump and his minions never really cared about democracy. They don't care about what's fair or what's not. They only care about one thing: keeping power by any means necessary. And they are abetted by men who are weak-minded and decided to not call it what it is: sedition and treason, including the new attorney general. Right now, everybody associated with this should be arrested, all of them. And barred from ever holding public office again. The only time we ever used the word accountability was a black kid shot by a police or an athlete who smokes weed. That's the only time we use accountability. We know more about Antonio Brown and his misgivings than we do about what happened in the White House. The same people who sought to overthrow the government are now concerned with CRT, critical race theory. They don't want to tighten school, which is an idiotic approach. Most schools in the United States are off on the second week of June. June 19th is the third or close to the fourth week of June. So nobody could learn it anyway. So rather than deal with what has happened, they have distractions. And they will keep being able to do it until the men and women who are associated with this are locked up. Not just the low line. You know, when I grew up, they always wanted the big fish. They always wanted the guy who could lead you to the guy who was in charge. The guy, the head honcho, the one who made all this happen. And that was very clearly Donald Trump. You merely only have to read the text and hear the and see the communications to know. There were congressmen, there were senators, there were press people involved, and all of those people, 1, should be arrested, and 2, barred from ever holding office again. Ever. It's the legacy of this anniversary, such a tragic anniversary. It shouldn't be that those people still sit in the halls of power. It shouldn't be that we're waiting to. Imagine if there were black people. We already know what would have happened. We'd already had trials, and people would have already been sent away for life. We have intelligence agencies whose sole purpose has been to make sure that black militants, as they call them, don't overthrow the government. These people actually tried to and have on several occasions. And they're allowed to do it because they get to say no one will call them what they are, including the Attorney General of the United States right now. Donald Trump is a treasonous seditionist. That's what he is. And everybody who abetted him are the same. And they should be arrested just like anybody else. There are things that you do that bar you from employment. There are things you can do that can get you barred from the NBA or the NFL. There are things you can do that you can't do at your job. Imagine threatening the safety of the people of your job. Imagine people showing up to your job at the behest of whatever leader they're espoused to and threatening people. If you can't do it at White Castle, you should not be able to do it at the White House. Happy January 6th, America. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.